I knit the size 4. I knit the stitch count for size 4. Hello everyone and welcome back to the DoSo Knits YouTube channel. My name is Kristen and I'm a knitter and military spouse currently living in Germany with my family. If you're new here, this is my channel where I talk to you guys about how knitting has interwoven into my life. Today's video is episode 15 of my video podcast where I share with you guys all the things that I have finished, my works and projects, maybe some future knitting, and if I ever host any knit-alongs, this will be where you will hear about them. All of the show notes for this episode can be found on my website, dosoknits.com, which I will link in the description box down below. And then if you would like to find me other places as well, I am DoSo Knits here on YouTube, Instagram, and Ravelry. On Ravelry, we also have a group for this podcast, and we also have a Discord channel if you would like to pop in there to chat with any other knitters in our little community. So today is a Saturday morning. It is quite gloomy and gross outside. It is currently raining. It is supposed to rain a good portion of the day today, I believe. I've already taken Sherlock out on a walk and he adorned his raincoat. He does not enjoy the rain, so it has been interesting. It is very windy as well, so you might hear some rain spatter on our windows. But overall, it's nice. The days are getting a little bit longer. We definitely had a nice little warm week and it has cooled back down, so still a little while to wear long sleeves and snuggle up at home. Today I'm drinking a Bird and Blend tea. This is peppermint cream. It's like a peppermint tea, but it is caffeinated because it has oolong in it. I really like it. It's kind of a milky, creamy like tea, but nice peppermint and very homey as well. With all that being said, we can go ahead and get some admin out of the way. If you weren't aware, I was hosting a knit-along. It was the New Year, New Whip knit-along, and it ran from December 25th through the end of February. Since the last podcast episode, I have drawn winners and contacted them. Our two winners from Ravelry were Dee and Elisa. Both of them did marvelous projects throughout the knit-along, and both the prizes have been sent out to them in the mail. And then our Instagram winner was Meredith Marty, and she won the choice of pattern from Hugga Canyon. So I just want to thank all of you guys for making my first knit-along a success. We had about 25 to 30 finished objects in the end. So if you're interested, make sure you go check out that thread, the first post with me. I've linked all the people who finished an object and their post. But go in there, check it out. There's so many wonderful things, and the things everyone finished in a couple months was amazing. So thank you guys so much. Literally interacting and seeing what you guys are making means so much to me, and the fact that I wanted to host a knit-along, and you guys really helped make this first one successful, and I hope you enjoy the prizes, and I hope you guys will help me in the next one when I start one. I'm sorry I'm not the best with words, but having your support and you guys watching and all of that really makes this worth it. When I sit here and I talk to a camera, and the interaction with knit-alongs and in the chats with the Discord really make this feel like we're building a bit of a community and gaining friends through all of this. And you know, sometimes it's hard to find knitters in your local area, and I hope that these videos and this place like this can help you connect with other people and, you know, be inspired and share what you're making. So thank you again. Alright, I will stop gushing and we can go ahead and move on to finished objects this week. I just want to say I have a lot to show you guys this week. It's only been a couple weeks, but my little notes for the podcast are quite long. There's a lot to talk about today. I don't know what's got into me the past 2 weeks, but there's a bit. So the first objects that I have finished were my Porthos socks by Kukua Coffee. These I knit with Desert Vista Dye Works in the gingerbread people colorway, and I used my Addy Crazy Trios in a US 1 or 2.25 millimeter. And I knit these as part of the both a Sock Knitters Anonymous challenge and for my Desert Vista Dye Works socks for February. So I'll give you guys a nice little close-up. So these socks have a really simple knit and purl texture throughout. I did a 1x1 ribbing for the cuff. The heel is a German short row heel. And then I just did a wedge toe. And I really enjoyed the Crazy Trios. I think overall they were really nice, especially when there's a lot of purling. I think having that little extra needle is nice. There is so much hair on these socks. I gave these to my husband Shane, which is who they are for. I knit 64 stitches and he has worn them so much. Currently they are still a little damp. They are drying on these blockers, but I wanted to be able to show you guys. There is so much cat hair all over the bottom of them, and if you can tell, the white stripes are a little less white. Shane likes to wear his socks a lot. He wears them for about 2 days and then doesn't wear them and lets them air out and rejuvenate, because the wool rejuvenates. This is what I told him apparently. The wool rejuvenates and heals itself, and then he can wear them a couple more times before he has to put them into the wash. So I think I'm gonna deem maybe not wearing 4 times before I wash them. But I'm glad he likes his socks. It makes me very happy. I just might avoid white colored stripes for his socks. He wears socks all in the house, but he doesn't wear slippers or anything, so they tend to pick up all the cat hair and dog hair. And with that warm week, and now it's cooled back down, but both the animals are just dropping hair all over the place, and we need to get them some haircuts because it's driving me nuts. We vacuum about once a day, if not more. So I'm glad he's been enjoying these. They are added to his sock drawer. I've realized I need to crank out some more socks for him because he wears through them quite quickly, and doesn't wear through the socks, but he wears his socks on a continuous basis. So that is fun. I did find out that the wool setting on my washing machine works marvelous with knit socks, and I tested them on some of the socks that like the first pairs that I made him, and they were a little too big. The first one was trying to figure out sock gauge and everything. So we tried washing those in the washing machine first. They didn't get utterly destroyed. I just put them in a laundry bag that zips up, put them in, and then I have some wool wash and a cheese grater. You just grate some of the cheese, grate some of the soap into the main bin. You put it in the wool setting. The wool setting just puts a little bit of water in. It spins it a couple of times. They sit and soak. And then in about 10 minutes, it does it again. They sit, and then they sit and soak. And it does that, and it takes about 40 minutes total. At the end, it sucks all the water out, and then I just hang them up to dry. It is going to save a lot of time. So I did a full load of socks yesterday. I think about 8 pairs, because both of us, if we have my knit socks that I've done, we wear them. So there's a lot to wash, and that is why these are still drying. I pulled them off the drying rack, put them on the blockers to show you guys. And yeah, highly recommend maybe testing out wool setting on your washing machine. I also, the 2 pairs that were slightly too big, I put them in a very hot setting in the dryer to try to get them to shrink. And after a couple of dries, they finally shrunk up just a little bit because they were all super washed. So, I mean, I dried them twice on a extra dry, they call it closet dry. I put it on the extra closet dry twice, and they were still kind of damp and didn't shrink much. And then I did a 20-minute extra cycle, which is like very warm, and they seemed to shrink up just a little bit, and now they actually fit him. So that's exciting. I think it's exciting for him. And yeah, they didn't like super felt or anything, so I will say Superwash has a little bit of a, I think if you accidentally threw them in, they'll probably be okay, because I was really trying to get them to shrink and it took a lot. Took 3 cycles to get it to shrink up. And even that, they didn't like felt. They went from like a 9-inch circumference to like an 8.5 or 8-inch circumference. So not a lot. Anyway, those are the Porthos socks. Since the last episode, I have also finished another pair of socks. I do not have them here to show you, but I will pop a picture on the screen. I knit a pair of Shortie socks for Shane's mom for her birthday. These are knit with the Regia Tutti Frutti cotton yarn, and it was in the Grape colorway. For these, I knit them on my Sock Wonders in a US 0. They had a 5-round 1x1 cuff. And then I did 8 rounds of the leg before I started the German short row heel. And then I did a normal foot and did a wedge toe. So I hope she will enjoy these. She had been watching videos around Christmas time and really thought the watermelon socks that were for my mom were very cute. So for her birthday, I had her pick out which of the cotton colors she would like. I ordered them and knit them for her. I also knit these as part of the 1-week sock challenge, which Julianne Knitter was hosting on Instagram, and I actually knit them within a week. And I had mentioned that after some of these socks, some pattern socks, the Stockinette one might be calling my name, and considering I knit them in about 6 days, I think in a week. I knit them in the exact week. Stockinette sets were definitely calling to me, and it was very lovely to just get them on and off, and I thoroughly enjoyed them. Now you may be wondering, Kristen, what is that right there on your chair? So I have also finished my Habitation Throw by Helen Stewart. I knit these with my ChowGoo interchangeables. I used a US 4, which is a 3.5mm needle. And what's really nice about that is as the blanket got longer, I could switch to the longer cord. And then once I was decreasing back down, I was able to switch back to the shorter to make the slippy slidey a lot better. I knit these with the Nora George Harry Potter Blanket Club. I knit from July to December. I didn't quite get through all of December, but I got through a good portion of them, so I will go ahead and show you guys. So with this blanket, if you are new, you start with the short, with this corner, and you increase out, and you increase all the way to once you are, you'll increase until on the diagonal until you are ready to start decreasing again. So starting here, this was the July colors through there, June, and then these were July, August through here, September, October, November, and half of December. So overall, this is kind of what my blanket looks like. I'm very happy with this blanket. So right now, if you can tell, corner to corner, it's probably about 4, maybe 4.5 feet. I have not blocked this yet. It is superwash yarn, so I imagine it's probably going to stretch quite a bit. Plus it's garter, and the eyelets should open up a bit as well. So I think I'll be able to get, my wingspan's about 5.5 feet, and I can stretch it to that currently. So it might stretch that big in the end. I am so excited. I highly recommend this pattern. It's quite easy to memorize. I did not use the pattern once you get going until I need to learn how to do the decreases. Did a couple rows of those, and then you're just smooth sailing. You know what to do. It fits nicely on my lap, which is what I wanted, a nice little throw. So if I'm sitting here in my chair, I can just sit cross-legged, put it on my lap, and can stay nice and warm in my little chair. I will show you. This is what is left of my Russian join ball of the December colors. So I think I had this color and then this one color that's peeking through. That was the only one that's left. I had done the math. You're supposed to start decreasing about 45% of the way through your colors. So I had done the math and I was supposed to start decreasing at about like between the 16th and 17th color, which I did. And I probably could have done a little bit more to get the last color in, but I'm not sad. This pink and purple color is one of my favorites. I'm so glad it's near one of the edges. And yeah, I love this pattern. The one thing I will say, if I am knitting this pattern again, as you get to the center, some of the stripes get a lot smaller compared to the other stripes. This is because I was using 10 grams for every color. I would do 10 grams, I would make my Russian join ball, and that way I could just keep knitting. I will say doing this and then not having to do all the ends at the end was amazing. I highly recommend that. But some of the colors in the middle were they felt like they were getting thin just in comparison. So if I ever did this again, I think I would change colors after the eyelet rows, because ones such as this red, I really like that the color change happens right near the edges of those color changes. And that would probably be the only thing I would do differently, just because I'm a little OCD and I like for things to fall near changes. But I'm so happy for this blanket. I think it's just like a lovely pop of color, and I love how the colors just kind of blend and wash together. I think Nora George's dyes and yarns are so beautiful, and I'm so glad I did this club overall. I think it's been nice to be able to just get a set of minis every month, and then you can add them as you go. It makes it really fun. It makes a blanket. I mean, this blanket took me a long time. I started it in September, I believe, and it's now early March. So it does take a bit of time, but it's been nice for just having something garter stitch on the needles, and I can just work on it when, especially in the mornings when my brain isn't ready to turn on yet, but I want to knit while drinking my matcha, and it's just been very nice. And since casting it off, and my other project, with my weekender as well, I've been feeling a bit, I don't know, stockinetless, garterless. I don't know what to like pick up that doesn't require a lot of brain power, so you'll see what that leads me to. So I think I'm just gonna leave this on my lap for now, because like I said, it's nice and snuggly. I like to sit under. With that being said, you might have caught, if you're paying attention, that I mentioned I have one more finished object. I have finished my Weekender by Andrea Mowry. So I was knitting this with some natural merino wool in a gray color, and here it is. So I knit the stitch count for size 4, which should have ended up being about 52 inches around, which for me, honestly thinking back, probably was a size maybe too big. So my upper bust is 39, whereas my full bust is about 45. So I was going off of my full bust. So based on my upper bust, that would have been about 12 inches positive ease. Here, maybe 8-ish. I think going forward, I will measure from up here into ease from there, and then if I need to add bust starts to accommodate, I can. That is the plan going forward. I don't know what happened. This Weekender is huge. All in all, it is about 58 inches around. It's quite large. It fits. It's just bigger than what my intended purposes for it are. It drapes very nicely after I blocked it. It flattened out because it was kind of, every time I tried it on, it was a little bunched up along the ribbing on the back. Overall, I really love how it looks. It's just too big. It ended up being about 58 inches, and overall that's just a lot. Here's a close-up of the ribbing up there, the sleeves, and the front panel. I don't know if my gauge swatch was slightly off. I ended up with about 16 stitches over the 4 inches instead of 18. I don't know if when I swatched I didn't do a big enough one to really accommodate, if I just cast on in a frenzy and should have let it dry more. I don't know. All in all, to say, I think I'm just going to make this again. I am a little bummed that I can't wear it because I've been looking forward to wearing it, but like I said, after finishing this and finishing my Habitation Throw, I've been looking for another sweater to knit, and nothing, there's a couple things that I want to do, but nothing was like really gaining my interest. And honestly, the idea of knitting this again in a smaller size sounds the most appealing, which to some of you may sound crazy. So I redid the math based on my gauge and the amount of ease that I would like. I'm aiming for about 8 inches bigger than this, so about a 47 or 48 circumference. With my gauge, I will be reknitting with the size 2 stitch count, which will make this go significantly faster because I'll be knocking off about, let's see, about 35 to stitches around in general. Because I really like the fabric. I don't want to try going down another needle size to like try and hit gauge more. I know what my gauge is. I knit a whole sweater in it. It shouldn't change that much. It'll be 16 stitches. I measured in multiple places what it would be, and I think I'm just going to knit it again. Every time I put it on, it's very warm, and I love wearing it, and it's just huge. It is humongous when I put it on. So I hope you guys are ready to not be off the weekender train, because we're about to hop right back on it. And if you are tired of it, we will, you can just skip that part of the podcast. I might not show it as often because we've kind of been on the journey together, but that is the plan going forward. I really like the yarn. It's very soft. Yeah, I don't know. I think part of me knew, because I would try it on and I would wonder, but it's hard to tell because I hadn't blocked it, and honestly I probably should have blocked it before I did the sleeves to like verify. But one, I'm kind of stubborn, and two, I was determined to finish it for the knit along, and you know, I couldn't, if I had to rip back, that would make it so I probably wouldn't finish. So I'm stubborn. But like I said, I'm really okay with the idea of just making it again. Like the fact that like I'm not devastated or anything is quite surprising to me. But I'd rather make it again and it turn into something I will throw on all the time. And right now it's something, it's just a little too big. It's quite balloony around. So yeah, I'm probably gonna just wait to show you guys it, and then I'll probably be winding all the yarn back up. You know, it's probably time that I was due for a sweater to end up not the right size. I've knit a couple cardigans, chain sweater ended up okay, my rift ended up okay, so this one just did not. It's fine. I'm really okay. I wish I just knew what I did to make it so off. I think it's probably the gauge swatch. I don't know if my gauge was just off from the swatch, if I did the math incorrectly from the swatch, if I just picked the wrong size. But overall, we have learned more. I'm excited to try to do the horizontal bust darts that I learned from a class with Vogue Knitting Live with it, and we will see. Finally, we can move on to what I've actually been knitting on since I finished all these things. I have started a couple different projects since chatting with you last. I believe all of them are new cast-ons since the last episode, so this is kind of exciting. The first thing I have is the Musselburgh hat by Ysolda Teague. And if you watch people such as Nitty Natty or Crazy Sock Lady, you have probably seen this hat. The Crazy Sock Lady is actually currently hosting a knit-along for this hat. Shane mentioned the other day that he needed a new hat. So I had him go upstairs, look through my yarn stash, had him pick out a yarn. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen the yarn he's chosen. I would have not picked this yarn for him. He just picks yarn and I don't expect it. So I've determined he will pick out his own yarn because I cannot anticipate what he likes. Because I think he likes it all. So I am knitting these on a 3mm needle. I got some new needles for this. I got some Addie Novels, the 3mm. It is a 16-inch needle, and these are the square needles around. So when I started, I begin with my Knit Picks DPNs, the nickel ones. Do those throughout the increases from the hat, because with the hat you start with a pinhole cast on and you increase out, and then you knit stockinette for a long amount of time, and then you decrease down because the hat folds in on itself. It's like this, and then it goes in, and then it's a hat. So I will show you the color first. I'm knitting with this with chromatic yarns. It is the colorway Pop Pop on her sturdy sock base. So it's 75% superwash, blue face lesser, and 25% nylon. This is the color. So Shane picked, ooh, my ball is a little messy. You'll have to forgive me. Shane picked a blue, so it's a light blue with darker blue spots throughout. Sometimes there's little pops of teal. And it's a really fun color. I just would not expect him to want this for his head. So I did the increases and this has been my on-the-go knitting for a little while. It's been really lovely. When we go pick up the mail, Shane will go inside and get the mail. When we run errands, when we're driving in the car, this has been great on-the-go knitting because all you do is just knit around and round and round. So this is kind of what the yarn is starting to look up like. So what's nice about this pattern is you can knit anything from a fingering to about a DK, and depending on your gauge, that'll tell you what to increase your stitch count to. So my gauge on this, I'm getting about 7 stitches an inch. And so with Shane's head, he is right between the measurements for the adult medium and adult large. He has a 23-inch circumference-ish. So I opted for the adult medium, which is for up to a size 22, because since this is a superwash, I'm expecting it to stretch a bit with blocking, and then I believe it should be okay. Yeah, it's been lovely to work on. The pinhole cast on, I will give you a tip. Make sure you don't, because you use a crochet hook to start. My needles are 3mm. Don't use like a 6mm needle to make it, because then when you start your DPNs, they all just like slide off. And that is very frustrating. So I did it again with a smaller one, and that worked so much better. Because the DPNs will hold the yarn, but not if they're too big. They just slide right out. But this is what, I wanted to try square needles. And this is what these look like. Overall, the normal knitting feels very similar. I don't know if I was using circle needles, if my hands would get tired, but I really like working with these. I feel like I can knit on this for a long time. And what's nice is with the squares, the little ridges kind of help the yarn to stay on. Yeah, there's not much to say about this. I think it's starting to look like a hat now. It's a little bunched up still, but overall, it's been lovely. I plan to knit another one of these for Shane in black, because then he can wear it to work, and I also plan to knit one for myself and some marled yarn as well. I think this will be, it's nice because it's kind of like a vanilla sock, but it lasts a little bit longer. And I tried making another hat, the Everyday Slouchy Beanie, and that's very similar where it's a lot of stockinette, but something about that hat just did not jive with me. I don't know if it was the needles I was using or the gauge or the yarn, but this one has been so much fun to work on. So I highly recommend this pattern, especially if you need something that is very mindless. I just keep looking at it. The next thing that I've been working on are my London socks by Mina Phillips. I'm knitting these for my Desert Vista Dye Works March socks, also for the Sock Knitters Anonymous challenge this month is cities and architecture, so this is perfect. Mina is starting a Around the World in 8 sock club. This is the first sock, so every month she's releasing a new pattern. I was very excited to knit these. I thought this yarn would be perfect for it. So I'm knitting them with the Vista Dye Works in the Holiday Wreath colorway. I know, technically it's a Christmas or holiday colorway, but it's red and white and a light blue self-striping. So these are living in my Join the Stitches quilted bag. I love this bag. It is perfect for this because it can hold everything that I need. So this is the label for the yarn. So Desert Vista Dye Works. It's her Viso base. So it is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and about 420 yards. And this is how far I am in my socks. So again, these are another knit and purl texture sock pattern. I did a 2x2 cuff as the pattern called for, and then the leg has both a written and charted instructions for every size. Oh, I'm knitting these on my Crazy Trios, as you can see, and I love the little like winding roads almost that this patterning is giving. It kind of does a little this kind of shape, but they don't all connect. It has been so much fun to work on. I think my little doggy from the Corner of Craft is perfect to adorn these socks, and I think the red, white, and blue for the London socks is fun. I think I'm very on brand, I feel like, with these socks. So I'm knitting these for myself, so they will be 56 stitches in total. And yeah, these haven't been worked on as much because they do require a little bit of focus, but I try to pick them up a little bit every day just to try to work a few rows. And I think they are just a lot of fun. I should have about half a chart, and then I'm going to be doing my heel. I've not decided which type of heel to do yet. The pattern comes with the German short row heel along with how Mina does her modified heel flap adjustment for those. And it comes with her basic vanilla sock pattern as well. But part of me's thinking maybe I'll do a heel flap and gusset, and part of me likes how fast German short row heels go. So we shall see. I've really been liking this pattern. I really like how they stretch in and out. So yes, those are my London socks. Hopefully I will have one done to show you guys next time, or probably should be close to having the second one done too, since I need to finish them before the end of March. So that is the plan. Next things I have started, I debated on showing you, and I have decided I will. This is also living in a Join the Stitches project bag. These are going to be some scrappy, stripey vanilla socks for myself. So I had been watching Kay, and she had started some scrappy socks on a previous Sunday, and I was like, I really want to start some scrappy socks as well. And then I was watching Fiber for the People, and she did some striping, like some striped vanilla socks, and I went, that is what I want to do. So I've pulled the leftovers from my painting bricks. So they're all shades of blue and teal in here. All of them are Cascade Heritage Solids. They're all linked on my Slipstravaganza project page. I have not linked them yet on these Scrappy Sock page. But I am doing this color as the main background color. It's like a night navy blue, and then I'm doing some stripes of accents. And this is where I'm at. Doink. So I am doing some Shortie socks, and I did about 5 rounds for the cuff before doing a simple stripe. Did a German short row heel this morning, and then I am starting on the foot and starting some more striping. So there's not much to see right now, but this yarn is really nice to work with. It's very soft. It is a little splitty, but with the 9-inch Sock Wonders, they've been gliding really nicely, and it's a lot easier than working with my Shawl when I was doing my painting bricks. And yeah, I'm very excited about these. I just wanted to show them off. I'm doing them 9-inch circulars, and they're just they're kind of my palette cleanser, stockinette easy when my brain doesn't want to work project right now. And I was thinking with summer coming and the warmer weather, I want more Shortie socks to be able to throw on. And I thought using the scraps would be perfect for that. So those are those. Not a lot to show. I just started these 2 days ago, 1 day ago. I've not gotten very far, but I thought they were fun. And the last thing I have to show you guys today, it is living in my Mountain State Stitches bag. I love this bag. I love how it stands up, and it is perfect for this project. I have started the Coast Along Shawl by Samantha Gurin. Again, I'm using my Chalgoos. I'm using a US 4. The pattern calls for US 5, but I figured I probably need to go down because I'm a loose knitter. And I am using Life in the Long Grass Merino Singles. It is 100% merino and 366 meters. This is what this color looks like. And if you saw my last Stash In and Out video, I did mention this project and these yarns. And then I am also knitting it with Stress Knits Yarn's favorite in the Ophelia colorway. So that's an 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. And this is this color. So a white with some pops of green. There's even some pink pops throughout. And I cast this on last night. So I'm not super far, but I've been enjoying this a lot. So this, let me get my strings all figured out. This is my Coast Along. So right now we're just increasing out. So you start here and then you increase out. We have this center stitch marker or center stitch detail that is really fun. It's mostly garter throughout, and now I'm starting some of the patterning section where I've done some baubles and some eyelet rows. I mentioned it on the last podcast. I saw this pattern on Instagram and I immediately thought I want to cast that on. So both of these yarns I had in my stash, but you need 2 colors of your main color. So I ordered an additional skein from Stephen and Penelope, and they had 1 left, so it was perfect. It was meant to be, and I'm really liking so far how the white and the main color are cooperating. I think the white stands out just enough that they tie together as well, and I think the variegation in the main color is really fun. It's amazing seeing things knit up because it's really hard to predict what they will look like, and the mauve and purple parts in this right now they have my heart. Have my absolute heart. And I've not worked with Life in the Long Grass yarns before, or Stress Knits. They're both fabulous. This merino single is really interesting. It's really soft and plump, and I've not worked with singles at all, and it's quite fun. And stress knits, just the ply on her yarn is amazing, and it's really interesting to see and feel, kind of going back and forth. You can kind of feel how a 80-20 versus a 100% single are different, and it's very interesting. I'm really enjoying this pattern. It's written very well. I like how she has it laid out. She has these sections that you repeat, and she has it separated, and it's very easy to follow. I really like it, and I highly recommend this pattern. If anyone wants to hop on making this with me, I would love to see what you guys come up with and what color combinations you would do. I'm very tempted to buy another kit of this, but I will restrain. So this is what's been calling to me. I started it, like I said, yesterday, and it's basically been what I've been working on. I picked up the Musselburgh when we went to get dinner last night, because we went to get Indian, and that's a good, it's 40 minutes each way for us to pick up that food. So we went, picked it up, and came back, because there's still no dining in restaurants right now. And I knit on that like the whole time. But other than that, basically been working on this. Yeah. I'm excited to wear this. Excited. And I'm loving how it sits and fits in my Mountain State Stitches bag. I think what I like the most about this bag is, like, it's sitting on the floor right now. I can pick up the knitting. Both yarns have plenty of room in the bottom to sit. They have plenty of space to kind of do their own thing. The pockets hold my labels, and when it's sitting on the ground, it literally sits just like this. So I can sit in my chair, put this on the ground, and easily can pull all the yarn out as I'm knitting. Thank you, Jenny, so much for sending me this bag, and I will be hopping on a shop update here very shortly whenever I see one. And it just closes up just like that. Love it. With all that, I think that is all that I have for you guys today. If that's not enough, I am sorry, but I have hit stop and start twice, so I know this is going to be a long editing job. Thank you for hanging out with me. Let me know down below what you are working on or what you want to cast on here soon. If you liked the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. It helps us find other people who might be interested in the videos. And if you'd like to know whenever I post future videos, just hit subscribe and you will be notified whenever I post the next video. Until then, I will be posting another podcast episode in a couple weeks. I hope you put a little bit of love into every stitch of your knitting, and I'll see you guys then. Bye. Yeah, gotta put this back in there. I knit the size 4. I knit the stitch count for size 4.